Hi, I'm Steve Nathan, co-founder of TimeHub. Welcome to this presentation on the employer side of MyTimesheets. So in this presentation, we're going to take you through the process of setting up your MyTimesheets account, loading in your employees, reviewing and editing employee timesheets, and posting to payroll. So there'll be several videos covering these particular areas. So the first thing we're going to do is just cover the logging in and the interface process. So as we've said previously, the site is designed to operate on a mobile device that is connected to the internet, a tablet or a PC, and the screen format and size will change automatically depending on the device you're on. So this is what it would look like on a PC. This is what it would look like on a mobile phone. You can add, edit, set up employees, do the entire process on a mobile phone if you choose to, and assuming it is connected to the internet, or you can do it on a tablet or a PC. So I'm going to switch into PC mode for this exercise because it's just easier to show you that what it looks like in a bigger, slightly bigger screen. So the first thing we have is the employer login screen. Now in here you will enter your employee code, which will be an email address which we will have sent you, your password and your company number, and you log in. Now the employee basically goes through exactly the same process, except theirs gives them access just to their one timesheet, whereas this gives you access to all timesheets. If you were an employer and an employee, or an admin and an employee, when you log into My Timesheets, you'll have the ability to do both, but typically that won't be the case. So we'll log in. When we log in, we get to the process pay period. This is the area where you'll do most of the work. Obviously, when you're setting up, there's some other areas, but this is the area where you would work on a day-to-day basis. In this first video, we're going to take you through setting up the back end of your My Timesheet system. So we'll cover the preferences and pay codes first, then we'll come back and cover some of these other areas. So the first one we're going to address is the preferences. So the preferences is where we set up the company details. So some of this will have already been set up for you as part of your onboarding process when you first registered your account. So obviously your company name, contact, phone number, and email address. Those can be changed if you choose to change them. Just bear in mind that your email address also affects your login, what payroll system you're using, and we have a generic export as well as the two Crystal Payroll ones. We are adding other payroll exports every day at the moment, so we're just working through that particular process. The pay frequency, which is in this case, weekly, fortnightly, or monthly, we'll leave it on weekly. The start date, this is an important setting because sets the first day of the first pay period that you want your staff to be entering My Timesheets. So if your pay period runs from Monday to Sunday, then this would be set to a Monday date. So just bear that in mind. It can be changed, but it's better that you set up at the beginning. You can also have employees entering their times against cost centers and or job codes. So you can either choose to make that required or not, as the case may be. And same with the job code. So the cost centers is from a list. The job codes, we give you the choice of not using them at all, using it from a lookup table or a list, or making it free text. Now, obviously, the free text is the least desirable because it means your employees can enter anything, but it also means that they can enter codes without them having been previously set up in My Timesheets. So for this exercise, we're going to leave it on required from a lookup table so that I can show you the data when we set those up. We then have the review method. So the review method, which we'll come to, when you're reviewing your employees' timesheets, you have the option to see a list of days and then select an employee and review their times, or see a list of employees and then select their day and review their times, or select an employee and review their times and days. So I'm going to set that to leave it on there for now, and we'll come back and show you that. All of these options can be changed and they won't have any impact on the data. The hourly rate code, this is your default ordinary time. So this is how you want to describe your ordinary time. We've got it just as ordinary time, and that's typically what it would be. The data entry method, there are three types. There is start and finish time, which is where the employees would enter their start time, their finish time, and My Timesheets will calculate the hours worked. There is total hours, where the employee will enter that they have worked 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours on a given day. And there is quantity. Quantity is typically not used unless you are doing piece rates, where employees are entering how many units they have picked, packed, or processed. Now you can have a combination also of quantity and one of the 2 hour methods, but for this exercise we will leave it on total hours, and then we just simply save that screen. So set that up. You can change the methods and see how they work, and we'll cover them both at different stages of this video. So if I save that, right, now if I go back into my second menu option under settings, which is pay codes, and the pay codes is where I set up the different pay rates that will apply. Now, we have some defaults. You'll see the different colors here. So some of these are the default pay codes that we set up depending on the payroll system. So when you select your payroll system, we will automatically, if it's one of our known ones, we will automatically populate the default pay codes that you need, but you can also set up your own. So for example, here I have set up meal money as an allowance to be paid to an employee. We've got ordinary time, time and a half, double time, time and a quarter, etc. So some of these are in here because they are defaults. Now, because they are defaults, you don't have to use them. You can choose to edit the actual pay code and you can make it only available to admin. So if you don't want your employees entering their own leave, you can make the leave methods admin only, or you can put them in so that the employees can enter them and then you go back in and approve them later. You can also, if you don't want to use them at all and you don't want to see them at all, you simply make them inactive. Now some of these are required methods because of the Holidays Act, etc. So bear in mind if you stop using holiday pay or alternative leave or sick leave, then you may have some other issues. So if you wanted to go and set up a new pay code, you simply click on the plus sign, you set up give it a code, you give it a payroll code, and these will be addressed by your specific payrolls. Whether you want to include it in payroll exports or not, so you have got the ability to track things that don't get exported. Not typically something like a parking allowance that wouldn't be the case, but that could be the case, I guess. So the method is going to be quantity in this particular case because it is parking. But if I was setting up, for example, triple time, then I might make that actually make that 3 times, and we'll call it triple. And that's going to be a total hours method, and it's only available to admins. So if I save that now, then I have got triple time. Not very common, but you could have, you never know. So now I've got triple time as an available option that my employees could enter, or as an admin I can control. So these are here. You can either leave them as they are, disable them, or add new ones based on how you want your employees to be entering their data. So that covers this first two options under the preferences, and we'll come back and do the last 4 in the next video.